So, good afternoon, everyone. I am Nirali Waghela. Today, I am going to present the Mau Mau movement, memory, heritage, and the struggle for the justice. This is my academic information. Research question: how did British colonial land policy contribute to the emergency of the Mau Mau movement in the Kenya? Hypothesis is that British colonial land policy, particularly land alienation, forced displacement of the Kikuyu population and the creation of the settler-controlled white highlands directly contribute to economic marginalization, social disintegration, and political radicalization, thereby leading to the emergence of the Mau Mau movement in Kenya. This is table of content. Introduction. The Mau Mau uprising was a powerful anti-colonial movement that arose in response to British land alienation, forced displacement, and economic exploitation of the Kikuyu people in Kenya. Rooted in the demand for land and freedom, the struggle combined armed resistance led by Dedan Kimanthi with nationalist politics symbolized by Jomo Kenyatta. It remains central to understanding Kenya's colonial history, memory, and identity. Then, the roots of the conflict, land and the freedom, the struggle. The movement was response to decade of British land alienation, particularly in the fertile White Highlands. The goal was that known as Ithakawa Viyanthi, the land and freedom. The movement sought to reclaim ancestral Kikuyu land and British sovereignty. Context was that British colonization formed in 1920 used effective occupation to justify the displacement of the local population. Here is Didan Kimanthi was the millennium leader of Mau Mau movement in Kenya, and he was executed by the British colonial in 1957. And then the Jomo Kenyatta was first. He was not directly part of the Mau Mau movement, but he after independence he first became prime minister and then first president. Colonial violence and state crimes. So basically, how first they colonial people took fertile land from Kenyan people, and then they forced the Kenyan people to move from that, and those who didn't move from their ancestral land of there, they then British people forced them to work in their own lands. And then the official archive versus the personal record. In this, how African and Kenyan people try to have their history and the Operation Legacy. At the dawn of independence, the British state deliberately destroyed thousands of documents, evidence of torture and murder to obscure the record of atrocities. The silence. For decades, both the British and Kenyan state maintained a political forgotten to ensure post-colonial stability. So, British people try to destroy the document and evidence of the torture they did to the Kenyan and African people. Then tracing a forgotten heritage. Heritage making. Heritage in Kenya is often used to maintain ethno-political identity. However, Mau Mau sites were long neglected by official conservation efforts. The landscape. The land of central Kenya still bears scars such as ruin of detention camps and emergency village. Then the tin trunk archives, grassroots preservation. Survivor kept personal material archives, photographs, letter, and document hidden in tin trunk, under beds and in drawers. Then emotional signification. This trunk represent an intimate archive used to make sense of violent past when official history failed them. So they tried to preserve their history by storing a photograph, letter, and document in tin track. Then the body is an archive. Corporal record, corporal records, physical scar and wounds from torture serve as an intimate archive of violence that survivor carry daily. Survivors carry daily. Sensor memory. Trauma is triggered by modern sensory experience, such as the sound of a low-flying plane reminding survivor of the colonial bounding. So uh, then the unburied victim, then compensatory. Conclusion. The Mau Mau movement remained a defining symbol of resistance in Kenya's history. Despite colonial repression and silence, its memory survived through memorials, personal archives, and legal battle. It represents not only a fight against colonial rule, but also an enduring struggle for recognition, justice, and national identity. This is my reference. Thank you. If you have any question, feel free to ask.
So, Nirali, my question is, how has Mau Mau been portrayed in Kenya literature and film?
If we see Kenyan literature, Gugiwa Thingo tried to show Mama movement not just as the rebellion, but how Kenyan people have suffered because of colonialism, and how they uh, tried to torture people. They in Gugiwa Thingo's novels like wheat, the grain of the wheat and the petal of blood, we can see how um, Kenyan people have suffered in that. And in film, we can say that older colonial film tried to show Mau Mau movement as a rebellion, but now the Kenyan and African film tried to show Mau Mau as the heroic movement against the colonialism and for freedom. Any other question?
So, Nirali, my question is, how did Mau Mau differ from other East American independence movement?
Mau Mau movement is different from other African movements because it particularly happened in Kenyan state for the land, while other Eastern African state like Uganda and other state, their independence movement was more peaceful and political negotiation than the Mau Mau movement. And Mau Mau movement is more violent and intense because many people have died in this movement. Other movement are different from this. Thank you.